Awesome. Hey, Bharat, it's so great to have you here in this conversation.
Hi, Shobit. Yeah, thanks for having me here.
To begin with, tell me about yourself. Give me a quick 30-second career snapshot so we can get to know a little bit about you.
Yeah, sure. So I started off studying computer science at Drexel University, and from there got my start as 7 years at Deloitte Consulting as a technology strategy consultant. That really helped me to build my business acumen, get exposure to lots of different clients and engagements. I realized that I was really interested most in the digital type of projects, and so when North Highland reached out to me, they have a digital agency as well to lead a digital marketing project at their large investment bank client. I jumped at that chance and I really got to work on product management skills there, though not formally as a product manager. Since then, pivoted into technology so that I can really own the end-to-end lifecycle, work closely with product at Demandbase, and formally now a product manager at Human, although as we'll talk about leaving soon. The Columbia Executive MBA helped as well to own some of those skills and polish up that business acumen, and of course the intentional job search program.
Love that. So tell me more. Before we started, what did an average week look for you, both in your job search and what was going on in your career?
Yeah. So I think Human Security, formerly White Ops, recently went through an acquisition, and so there's been a bunch of changes in terms of leadership, culture, where the company is headed. And I'm also like a recent first-time father. My daughter was born in September, and my wife was on maternity leave. She was going back to work, and the family was now relying on me to kind of care for the baby while I was on maternity leave. So my time was really crunched. I had no idea how to raise a baby and was really kind of learning about that. And the time I had to invest in career search was very limited. So I really need to maximize the time, the efficiency and productivity I would get out of the time I could invest.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
and so your daughter was born in September, and you were when did you start the program? This was March,
yeah,
Feb?
that sounds
Yes.
March,
So
right? Yeah,
so she was 4 months old or something like that. 5 months old.
September, October, 4, 7. Yeah, that sounds right. So she was born in
Yeah.
September. So what is that? October, November, December, 6 months or so?
6 months, yeah, 6 months old.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, tell me, for you, what had been the biggest struggle or biggest frustration that you were experiencing with your search or your career that caused you to
Mhm.
seek out a different solution?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been fortunate. As I've wanted to pivot into product management, I was able to find those opportunities. But sometimes I feel like those opportunities came through chance, maybe an alumni connection I had or a former colleague who knew of an opening. So although I knew where I wanted to take my career, I didn't always know what is the best next opportunity. So that was frustrating. I would talk to my career management center back at Columbia University, and they're great, but I think their advice that they provide is kind of more general to career, not as much product management specific. And so that was kind of a key gap for me. I knew I wanted to be in product management, and I wanted coaching and mentoring to align with that.
Love it, love it. And so, we spoke. You got to know about the intentional job search program. What were your biggest hesitations before you were like, okay, Shobit, I'm in. Let's go do it.
Yeah, I think one would be like investments. It is, a bit of an investment, but as we talked about my disc profile, like I think about it more in terms of what I could lose as in terms of what I can gain. So that's a
Yeah.
little bit of a mind shift. You wonder like, can I do this on my own and things like that? And I've tried, right? And I haven't really achieved exactly what I wanted. Those were some hesitations, I would say. Yeah, I think those are the main ones.
Yeah. So totally, there's an investment involved. There's a question of can I do this on my own? So what pushed you over the edge to take the leap and say, okay, I'm in. Let's go do this.
Yeah, I mean, you do, it is a leap of faith, but there's so many testimonials, so you can definitely get a sense of what the journey was for others.
And
And
now there'll be one
yeah,
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I find those helpful. I mean, not just to build trust in the program, but just to kind of expand your mind as to, hey, what could this mean for me? Where have others taken their career using this? so that you can
Yeah.
open your horizons a little bit. So I think it's really good to go through those, at least for that reason.
Yeah.
Um, and then in terms of could I do it on my own? Potentially, but like I said, like I had, a baby at home and really limited time in between cries and things like that. And so really wanted to maximize and to learn from a community of other product managers, all focused on the same goal. Like I think that really helps to drive one's own motivation. You learn from others, you see what they're doing.
Mm.
So that pushed me forward. In terms of the investment, just thinking about what return I could be making, because I think I was historically underpaid,
Hmm.
and I had a bunch of myths around that as well that were kind of debunked through the program.
Hmm.
So recovering that through that ROI and kind of thinking your career more holistically um, helped,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Love that. So tell me, when you started working with us, Bharat, what was the first one or first few big aha moments for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think just right away when I get started with the modules, just kind of seeing the structure around, okay, here's the preparation that you can do to prepare you for 90% of the interviews out there. Because what I noticed in my short stint in job search was based on different company types, the interview process looks very different. But if you're able to like work with the program and go through the week by week kind of modules and the homework assignments you have there, you're able to really polish yourself to handle pretty much all of those scenarios. I think I was always intimidated as well by FANG interviews, especially, and like how could I possibly first even get an interview or even have a chance at succeeding in that interview? And I think by seeing others, by learning about the program, I mean, there's a methodology to it. It definitely takes work, but you can do it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love that. No,
yeah,
those are great insights. And so, tell me a bit more about like your search process. Like, what did you have to go through to land your new role, and how did the intentional product manager training and coaching help you?
yeah, sure. So I had a limited time window. I wanted to make a change sooner rather than later, and so that was one constraint I had. And I think I was being before the program very reactive. So I had on my LinkedIn that I was looking for opportunities, and I would get inbound requests, and I would entertain those without taking a step back and thinking about what do I want in my career generally, and what companies and roles would align to that. So I think yeah, that helped. And sorry, the question was how did the program help? Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think the clarity session was helpful in terms of getting a sense of what are my own priorities, how do they relate or weight against one another. So then I can use that criteria against companies that I'd be interested in pursuing or not pursuing. So you can really be specific as you're kind of creating that funnel of opportunities around ones that you'd be interested in. Otherwise, it's such a drain of time. Like some of these interview cycles could be like 10 meetings long, for example. So to invest that time and energy, although one could say, it's practice, you really want to be targeted. Practice here, you can maybe do a little bit of practice out there too, but you want to be targeted so that you're saving your time and energy for opportunities you really care about.
I'm gonna just add a
Yeah.
couple of color commentary to what you said. You
Yeah.
brought two very, very important points, which is I've seen a lot of people sort of be like, oh yeah, I'm getting like three, four requests. So I'm just gonna go with that and it's all cool. And that's like leaving your search to chance, right? Who will reach out to me today? I will just go based on that, which I think like you're totally right. It's like that's not a smart move. And then the clarity session for people to understand, it's really about being so specific about what you want from this job that you can evaluate and get rid of 80% of jobs right away. So you're not wasting your time applying, and more importantly, spending 20 hours for every job, because it does take that much time, like between the prep, between like the research, between doing the interviews, between stressing about it. It just takes that much time. So that's a
And that's,
very,
yeah, and that's time away in my case from my family. So that's definitely precious. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Yeah. And
exactly.
maybe it's something I'd add to that is, I was thinking about it as, okay, I have one formal stint in product management. I have many years of management consulting before that. And I've heard a lot of myths around only product management years of experience count.
Ah,
Yeah, and because you have this many product management years of experience, you're only slated for this level role. And I think joining the program, hearing from you, hearing from others in the program, helped me to debunk some of those myths and think more about the levels that I deserve and the compensation that I deserve as well. So that
yeah.
in itself, yeah, is very valuable.
That is such an important point, Bharat, where people are like, "Oh, I've only been in PM for a year." I'm like, "Yeah, but you like you launched these companies and you worked in consulting, which is like super stakeholder heavy, and you're building all these skills. And what about them? And you clearly demonstrated them when you were interviewing and doing that, right?"
Yeah.
So, what are the myths? You mentioned this myth. Were there other myths that really it got debunked for you?
Yeah, I think hearing some of your webinars in the beginning as well, like I thought that product management just generally doesn't pay well, potentially, which I think was a myth.
Uh-huh.
And I was doubting, did I even choose the right career? Um, Also, you know, if you're just starting out in product and you're looking at number of years of experience you have in product specifically, I've heard even from other product managers that, hey, this level of compensation is pretty fair. Or the compensation that I was looking for, I was told by a chief product officer, is only for director level and above. But I think
Mm,
that was also squashed by the job search process and help with negotiation on that.
mm.
Was able to negotiate what I didn't think was possible, but definitely with the help of the program. So I think those are the main ones.
Yeah, I love those. Those are so good, so good. So tell us about your new role. Where you landed. Uh, what do you think about it? What were the big wins? Just love to hear that.
Yeah, sure. So I'll be joining Zephyr as a senior product manager, and what they're focused on is analyzing video content across top social media platforms, YouTube
Mm,
and Facebook, for example, and helping our brands to really advertise against content that's suitable for their brand. They don't want to be advertising against inappropriate, sexual or terrorist content, for example.
yeah.
And so it's really exciting in terms of leveraging data science, human in the loop to analyze that video content and provide our brands with suitable places to place their ads, hopefully gain conversions, but also make the internet a safer place by kind of identifying this inappropriate content.
Love it. Love it. And so what's the role? Like, tell us the things that you're most excited by.
Yeah, I think it's a great team. I've seen folks on the team that have kind of grown along with Zephyr, so that's nice to see. I love that it still has a data science component, as we did at Human Security. We're going to be analyzing volumes and volumes of video content across top social media platforms. So that's very exciting in terms of the data and data science included there or needed there. And really building some new products from scratch as well.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, and they're already partners with YouTube and Facebook, so it's very exciting to see that deep partnership there. I'll get exposure or deeper exposure in that space as well.
Love it. And then, in landing, sorry, in landing this particular job, how did the intentional product manager program, the intentional job search help?
Yeah. So this was actually an opportunity that I heard about through a recruiter, but as I was going through the process, it was pretty involved. And so just really understanding what are the best practices of product cases, product frameworks that can be leveraged in the interview process, how
Yeah.
to handle all the different types of conversations you need to manage with whether it be a recruiter or hiring manager or, you know, is it C-suite folks that you're talking to? How do you manage those conversations? What are the type of things that you should maybe bring along in terms of questions and research? I think that was helpful. And there was also a presentation that I had to put together, and I
Mm,
did that with help of some of my friends in PM. But the valuable thing was then presenting that here and getting feedback here as well, and understanding how I can make that even better, more sharper, more crisper.
yeah. Yeah, totally. And I think anytime anybody has a presentation, for them to get quick feedback, it's just like changes the game completely because everybody else is not getting feedback, so you're ahead of it. So
Hmm.
awesome. I love where you landed. Really awesome role. You know, I want to ask last question, which is like, where somebody's watching this
Hmm.
and considering the program, what message would you have for them? And is there anything else also that you'd like to share that I just didn't ask you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think you might have doubts that I had in mind as well. Maybe could you do this yourself? Is there other coaching services out there? At least from my search, I wasn't able to find something specific to product management and as kind of holistic as this. And folks that are here, yourself and Sam have years of experience in product, launching your own businesses as well. So learning from that, learning from the community, and kind of having a step-by-step, week-by-week plan of getting you and landing you into that next role. It's helpful to have that counsel where you can just kind of go ahead and have a Slack message and ask questions like, "Hey, I'm thinking about this. Is this crazy?" And just to
Hmm.
have a sounding board is really good. Someone that's like truly on your side as opposed to maybe a recruiter who's not. I think that's helpful. So, I mean, I think the quicker you start, the quicker you'll be able to land and understand what is the right opportunity, land that job. And then if you take it to the next step, as I'm considering with Blueprint, is to really understand how do you, like you say, manage your career like a product. So you can think
Totally.
about it more holistically. So the next time a job search comes, you're very targeted in what you're looking for, and it all lines up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm excited to have so far done the work with you. Loved where you landed up. Loved everything about the new role. Excited for you, and also excited to work together in the future.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Shobit, Sam, entire IGS community, Gaber.